And welcome to the Comics Experiment, the show right here where I talk about the dogs that I'm buying, the cat that Dan owns, and the funny names that Andy's going to call it. We also occasionally talk about comic books, movies, and stuff like that related to the comic book world, either going through a list or looking at our own experiences or looking at the past. This show is brought to you on twitch.tv/Comicstorian every Thursday at about 2 p.m. Eastern, or when we start, which today is 48 minutes late. Hey, go figure. If you joined it live, you know what happened. Told you a whole story about me shopping for a dog. You can also find it at our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, where you get the unedited version of this along with many other shows and early access to our other videos. And please, for the love of God, go to our Patreon or this is all going to shut down and Dan's going to live in a box.
It's a refrigerator box, though.
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, right, it'll fit you and your cat. Yeah.
It's pretty big, yeah.
I mean, I fit in a lot of things.
But we would really appreciate your support if you want to go to our Patreon, help us through trying times here on YouTube, and just keeping one of your, I hope, your favorite shows around, or at least a show that you tolerate for the sake of us. We appreciate that.
At least top 50.
At least top 50 podcasts. Are we in your
yeah.
top 50 podcasts? Let us know in the podcast comments down below.
No,
you can also find us
3.
over at iTunes and Spotify and all these other locations. And today's episode is brought to you by one of our long-standing sponsors, For Hims. For sexy hair, skin, and sexual wellness, go to forhims.com/comics, where you too can get, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll tell you in the middle of the episode.
First month for free.
Your first month for free. They changed the offer recently.
They did.
But I'll tell you in the middle of today's episode more about that. They're one of our longest standing sponsors, and because of them and your support, we have a show here. You can also go to G Fuel, another one of our sponsors, and use the code COMICS and get 10% off.
I was expecting you to spill it on the laptop because every time you have G Fuel, you spill it at least once.
Just get it out of the way now.
just dump it on
Just
that.
get it out of the way, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, he does every time.
So, guys, the movie Birds of Prey is coming out to rave reviews.
Say the full title.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Harley Quinn and the Fantabulous Emancipation of
No.
One... Oh, Birds of Prey in the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
Yes.
nicely done. Only took him 3 times.
Yeah.
Anyway, that movie's coming
bad.
out. It's getting rave reviews. Apparently, it's beating Endgame and just pre-sales. I don't know. Pre-sales alone are like at $3 billion. I don't understand it.
That doesn't sound right.
No, that doesn't sound right.
Either way, it is getting good reviews, though, and we are going to see it tonight. So, as of the time of this podcast, no one here knows if it's any good.
Find out
you're
tomorrow at 8.
At 8. What are we doing at 8?
I don't know.
Probably from someone else.
Yeah,
but
somebody else. Yeah. I didn't say we were going to say it.
You can check my Twitter, probably.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so today we thought it'd be fun to look at every adaptation of Harley Quinn and the alternate versions of Harley Quinn, depending how fast we get through everything, because Harley Quinn is an interesting character. Andy, what is her origins in a publication sense?
It's a weird way to word that question. She first appeared on the Batman animated series in 1993, I believe. Might have been the second season, though. I actually don't remember off the top of my head. She was supposed to be a throwaway female henchman, and everybody liked her so much she stuck around. But she didn't make her first comic book appearance, main universe, until 97.
It was later, yeah.
During the No Man's Land event.
how the hell you remember all
Wait,
these
No
dates
Man's-
is very impressive.
Because he's been doing research on the animated series recently.
Oh, have you actually?
Which is why
I thought you knew this off the top of your head. I'm like, that's incredible. Because,
No.
I mean, he does usually know, like, the comics where he's like,
Yeah.
well, it was colored
It was
by...
back in 1995.
Chad says it was 92, but either way, you were close enough. I'm giving this to you.
Thank you.
A point in
You
your
did
corner.
crappy research.
I got a lot of dates up here now, man. But yeah, no, she didn't.
I did not know it was No Man's
It was
Land,
No
though.
Man's Land. Yeah,
What did she do in No Man's Land?
she appeared as Harley Quinn.
She's like, hey, I'm
Because we're covering it right now, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read all the way through it, like because I read it when it came out.
It was no, it was actually in her own standalone book called Batman Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was because I
But
read
it was during the No Man's Land event.
I read No Man's Land when it came out, but it was huge and sprawling
it
and hard
was,
to
yeah,
follow,
right.
and I was also only like 14, I think, at that point when that thing
I
dropped.
don't even remember.
So I couldn't even get all the books, and it still what stands as one of my favorite Batman stories just because of what happened in it. So we're doing it again on the channel right now, and I was like, I don't think we've done anything with Harley Quinn yet, and that's why.
Yeah.
So
Now she did appear in like the Batman the Animated Series comic books,
right, that was she was in.
but she was just a normal character.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. Yeah.
All right.
And if you're curious about if you should date Harley Quinn, well, Dan did a great voiceover video explaining if you should or shouldn't. What was the final verdict, Dan?
You probably shouldn't. She's kind of crazy.
I like Dan's trying to remember.
It was. I believe it was if you're also crazy, then go for it.
Her first appearance, Primo Shadow, in our Twitch chat, because we do air this live on Twitch, was Joker's Favor, September 11th, 1992.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the show, the episode. Yeah, Joker's Favor.
Oh, okay.
I thought we were talking about the comic book. I was
Yeah,
like, wait a minute.
Wait, he had a comic book back then?
Yeah, I'm way behind.
Yes. Yeah. Well, my research was really off.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to start our first list today looking at 19 of the different adaptations of Harley Quinn as listed by Screen Rant at their website place thing.
ScreenRant.com.
Yes, / Harley dash Quinn dash every dash adaptation dash ranked dash worst dash best /
I mean, you're not wrong.
Can I preface this list as I prefaced all lists?
Yes.
I don't know who wrote this list, but that person is an idiot.
We should put that on a t-shirt. That's all it says with no context.
It's just me wearing like nerd glasses. Like, I don't know who wrote this list. But that person's an idiot.
All right, so number 19 is The Brave and the Bold from 2008 to 2011. I've never seen this adaptation of her at all.
I never watched this show,
Flapper
actually.
Girl.
I've caught it occasionally.
Yeah, I've seen maybe a couple episodes, but it wasn't one I watched regularly.
Theatrical as always, Joker's henchman paid homage to the Roaring Twenties during a robbery of the Museum of Comedy. The Clown Prince of Crime acquired the powers of Bat-Mite and attempted to console the imp by creating a Joker Mite to antagonize him. Harley, who was dressed as a flapper, teamed up with Bat-Mite to defeat Joker Mite, who wound up turning against his creator.
There's way too many mites on that
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah.
Batman the Brave and the Bold took an interesting approach by keeping Harley out of any version of her original costume. Although she looked different, her personality was consistent with the Harley we all know and love. It's a shame that it's the only one single. It's a shame that one appearance is all we got. You want to take over from this?
It definitely does not look like Harley Quinn in that picture.
Here's the funny thing about alternate versions of Harley Quinn is they're all just Harley Quinn. It's just like the costume is
Yeah.
slightly different, or the
It's like she had her hair up.
Yeah,
They were
exactly.
pigtails.
She always acts the same.
Yeah.
I think that is because, and this is actually something I wanted to bring up today, because I've noticed that too. Whenever you look at alternate versions, they're pretty much Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
She's a little more of a good guy, a little more of a
Yeah,
bad
exactly.
guy,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah,
pretty much it.
She's either in love with Joker or in love with Poison Ivy. You never.
I think
Batman.
Well, I think
Batman
here's the
occasionally.
reason I think that is though. Like, if let's say you take a character like Red Hood, he's not as popular as he is. He's not in all the multiverses and everything like that. You don't
Right.
see much of him, and I think that's because he's still kind of newer, still kind of niche. He doesn't pop up everywhere because he's not as popular.
Right.
Bear in mind, I still love the character, but he's not as popular. But a character like Harley Quinn has gotten mass fame, but they don't know what to do with her because she has only been around for like 15 years. We don't have 60-something years where we can go
Right.
like 1602 and Kingdom Come and,
Right,
all these
yeah,
different versions that have come out. So, because I can't even think of like a sizable Elseworlds kind of thing that has come out since her like comic book
Yeah,
presentation.
not really. Yeah, other than like Injustice, but even that, she's really just normal Harley
Yeah,
Quinn.
she's normal Harley.
Switched over to being a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Batman sidekick eventually.
Yeah.
A Robin.
So that's why I said we're probably going to do both of these because the different adaptations. So Birds of Prey, 2002 to 2003, the show that no one remembers existed
Oh, it's a
except
show?
the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh.
Yes. Do you remember the plot to that one? I didn't watch that one.
It was Batman had gone missing. Batgirl or Barbara Gordon had become Oracle, and Huntress was the daughter of Batman and Catwoman.
So it was like an Earth 2.
It was like an Earth 2, and then a young Black Canary showed up and like joined up with them.
Dinah Redmond.
Sure, yeah.
That's apparently the name.
Totally.
And they had a Detective Reese, Alfred Pennyworth, and Dr. Harleen Quinzel.
Yeah.
Mia Sara, beloved 80s actress who starred in films like Legend and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, played this incarnation of Harley. By day, Dr. Quinzel was a respected psychiatrist who happened to be treating Helena. However, her true agenda was seeking vengeance on behalf of Mr. J as Harley Quinn. The series is a bit of a train wreck, deviating so far from the source material that it's basically its own entity. However, it was refreshing to see a series not only centering on female heroes, but showcasing a female villain. It's called Batwoman.
It was not very good.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, lasting 1 year, kind of, and the fact that we don't even have a good picture.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? This was so bad, we're not going to put a picture on our website.
It's weird because everyone kind of assumed it was getting just written, like it never happened kind of an attitude, right?
That doesn't work.
That's
There's a
the
new
real
movie
reason.
that's
I know,
coming
I
out
know.
today.
There, 2002.
That's
you
actually
go.
the real reason they're releasing this is so that the search algorithm starts going to
Makes
the new
sense.
movie.
Yeah.
This is, you probably have seen this cover somewhere. That was Huntress. Doesn't even look like her.
She was also a metahuman, so she had superpowers. She didn't use guns and things like that, like in the comics.
Oh, I didn't know she was a metahuman for
Yeah,
that
she was
plot.
a metahuman.
I'll have to send this to Dylan because we found an image of, I think that's the Harley.
That does not look very good.
I can see why this show was
Did not last very long.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was Harley. Dylan, since you're watching this and you're going to be editing this, make sure that is her. And if it is, I sent you the image. We're doing notes live. Production notes. All right, moving on. Number 17 is The Batman. I don't like that artwork for her at all.
Her head's weirdly shaped or sized compared to her body.
Yeah. The Batman was always a divisive show. From the beginning, the series did its best to differentiate itself from the incomparable Batman the Animated Series with varying results. The show was more cartoonish, and its characters lacked much of the depth of those of its predecessor. Perhaps it's unfair to compare the two, but the comparisons were unavoidable. In large part, the Batman was guilty of trying too hard to be cool, to be different, to be the animated series for a new generation. Voiced by Hayden Welch, his iteration of Harley was actually the host of a psychology TV show. Losing the job due to her unpredictable behavior was what led her into Joker's waiting arms. There was a few versions of the Joker that don't paint him as some sort of predator, so as usual, he preyed on Harleen's insecurities. He convinced her that the best outlet for her rage was to rain destruction down on Gotham City.
We've all been there.
That version of the Joker, too, actually looks not like if you didn't know it's the Joker or what you're watching, doesn't even look like the Joker.
No, yeah. I was not a big fan of The Batman.
I like that it's the Batman because of the fact that when he said that, I just pictured the Batman trying to be cool. So he shows up in like some hip glasses and like, hey, kids, I'm here to save you. Yeah, radical.
That was the Joker.
Because back then, that was the... What the hell?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this series.
Yeah,
as a
so for those who
whole.
don't know, he's got kind of dreadlocks, pure red eyes.
He looks like he belongs on All Real Monsters.
Yeah, kind of, actually. Yeah.
All right. Moving down this list here, we've got Justice League Gods and Monsters Chronicles. This, for those who don't know, and for listeners of the podcast, is the Harley that was basically in her underwear.
Yep.
Not basically.
No, that's actually her underwear.
Yeah, she is in...
My bad.
She's
she
basically
was
in lingerie.
Yeah.
She painted. I don't remember the plot because Gods and Monsters was interesting. She painted. She was basically a short film version because they made the movie.
Yes, they made 3 shorts for each character.
Right.
And she was in the Batman one, which was Kirk Langstrom as a vampire Batman.
Right. And
Which is pretty cool.
But she has like stitching on her makeup, and I don't remember if they ever. Like, is she a Frankenstein? Is she?
I don't know, but she had like a bunch of corpses she had also stitched together in a freezer full of body parts in that. Mini.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like
Yeah,
they
it was
went
pretty
full
it was
on
pretty dark.
serial killer with
Yeah,
her.
it was a pretty dark one.
That was voiced by Terrence
Unfortunately for
Stamp.
this Harley Quinn, this incarnation of Batman had no interest in carting her off to prison. The last thing she saw before she died was his vampire fangs sinking into her throat. Number 15 is DC Superhero Girls. Now, before anyone says anything, this is a show aimed at young girls to give them role models.
Yes.
Literally the purpose of the show.
It's still ongoing, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty popular with its demographic. So, is this series incredibly toy driven? Absolutely, it is true. It is. It's very much about getting kids to buy the toys of these characters.
Right.
I believe, and she's the show not only had, so I guess it's off the air now. She's roommates with Wonder Woman, and it has a strong feminist message and some pretty awesome songs.
I would watch that sitcom.
Harley Quinn and Wonder Woman as roommates.
That's roommates like a 90s
Actually,
sitcom.
I would love that.
That would
That'd be good.
really good.
But she
Except
basically
Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, so
But
that
this
she can spin around. Sorry.
no, you keep going.
That was my favorite part.
With
Was
Guy
every time
Gardner
I watched
as
it.
the neighbor.
Yes.
Can we have that sitcom, please?
Oh my gosh.
But no, so this version, she never even met the Joker. She was just a superhero that worked with Wonder Woman. That was the idea. You probably don't want young girls looking up to a person in an abusive relationship who's a crazy clown and a villain.
I feel like this one
Depends on your
is
child.
low on the list just because of how she compares to the actual Harley Quinn, not so much the quality of the character itself.
Sure, yeah.
Because let's be honest, if she was not a good character in that show, we would probably have heard a lot more about it.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
The only problem I have with this, like reinventing Harley Quinn for this kids show, is when these girls grow older and they're like, Harley Quinn is my favorite superhero ever. Oh my god.
I bet. Well, I mean, to be fair, nowadays she's kind of goodish.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are slowly kind of converting her.
So they just don't. They essentially go growing up, and they're like, just go to the recent stuff. Don't read the old.
Whatever you
stuff.
do,
That's
don't
dark.
get anything from the 90s.
All right, so number 14 is DC Universe Online. One of the best things about this version of Harley is that Arlene Sorkin reprised her role from the original animated series. There are plenty of great actors who lent their vocal talents to the character in her various incarnations, but no one will ever embody Harley quite like the very woman who inspired her. Fans get excited every time Sorkin is on board. DC Universe Online players are able to create their own original character and have the ability to choose whether they wanted to be a hero or a villain. Harley was, of course, playing for the bad guys, as loyal to her puddin' as ever. Character looked great, although she was sporting several costume changes over the years, and her original look is classic. I played this game a lot, and Houston and I recently went back, and we couldn't beat her in a boss fight because she kept sending the hyenas after us and had Poison Ivy helping her, and they were pinning us down, and I'm like, ah! We couldn't beat her, and we stopped playing again.
Sounds about right.
Anybody who watches my streams will know that because we did that live too. It's like, why are we losing? And then Houston's like, oh, I have to heal? Like, ah, you're a Green Lantern.
So it's like Bender in D&D.
I liked this version. Number 13, Batman Assault on Arkham. This Suicide Squad movie is what most fans were hoping for. It's technically a Batman film, but focused much more heavily on the Rogues. Set in the same universe as Batman the Arkham game series, it's a direct-to-video feature that sees Amanda Waller tasking the Suicide Squad with breaking into Arkham in order to retrieve top-secret information. Not much thought really went into the plot, as most of the draw here was the over-the-top action sequences and dynamics between the characters. I loved this movie.
I did too.
I can't remember where I have it on purposely. Because
Okay.
I'm getting messages from the pet people still.
Okay. I was like, didn't I put mine on?
No,
Do Not
that's
Disturb?
on purpose so I can check it to make sure. I don't remember where this takes place in the Arkham timeline. It's like after one of the games, I think, or before.
I think it's supposed to take place before the first one.
Is it?
I think so. But
Twitch chat
after
will
like
probably give me
the
an answer.
Origins game that nobody talks about.
No, it's after Origins. Okay, after Origins. But yeah, you're
What
right.
game
there.
are you talking about? I don't
Exactly.
recognize that.
I liked this version of her. I thought the costume was a cool design change.
Yeah.
Right.
It didn't make her go skimpy, which they did in the New 52. You know, because they were like, we have a strong female lead character.
Boobs, single female lawyer.
Well, this one's single female
Single.
psychopath.
Single female psycho.
It doesn't flow as well. No.
It doesn't.
All right, so moving down our list, we got number 12, which is the Lego Batman series Batman Lego movie version from 2008 to 2014 and 2017.
That movie was amazing, for the record. Did either of you see that Lego Batman the movie?
Yeah, we all saw that.
So good.
with you.
Did I? Did we? I don't know. It's long enough.
Why don't you
ago.
read this
I
one,
forgot.
Andy?
I forgot.
You struggling here?
We're getting to that point.
Okay. 10 minutes into the episode? I'm sorry, 18 minutes into the episode?
Actually, you know what else needs to happen at 18-minute mark in the
Go ahead.
episode? No, I gave you the power.
Oh, open the portal.
You've got the power.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Hims, a wellness brand for men. A new year has begun, and it's time for you to take back control of your hair with 4 Hims. 66% of men start losing their hair by age 35, and if you wait until your hair begins to thin, well, it's going to be too late. With Hims, you can prevent all of this and keep your head full of hair. 4hims.com is the solution, being a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men. With Hims, you can avoid those awkward doctor visits and save hours by going online to 4hims.com. It's super easy. Just answer a few questions and a doctor will review it and give you a prescription that gets shipped directly to your door. Dive into 2020 hair first. Right now, my listeners could start getting their first month for free by going to forhims.com/comics. That's forhim.com/comics. And here's a quick disclaimer for you. Prescription requires an online consultation with a physician who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Offer valid only if prescribed, 3-month minimum subscription. Additional restrictions apply. See the website for full details and important safety information. Remember, that's 4hims.com/comics.
I am not Marky Mark.
Oh, I like the way you open the portal.
Portal open. Siri, open
How long
portal.
do you have to leave the portal open?
You can close it now.
All right, close the portal.
He's so enthusiastic with his new powers.
I'm so overpowered, it's boring at this point.
Oh, what
You're
are
one
you,
punch.
like every cosmic hero in
Yep,
Marvel?
I just have way too many powers. Balrog has lots of powers.
What?
It's from South Park.
Oh,
Actually. All right, what are we doing? Lego Batman. Before Harley appeared in the delightful Lego Batman movie, she had I can't do this either. She had already made her Lego debut nearly a decade earlier in the video game series. Her origin is basically the same, and several different people have voiced her. Gray Delisle? Laura Bailey, Tara Strong, and in Lego Batman 1, 2, and 3, respectively. In the 2017 film, it was actress Jenny Slate who brought the character to life. I don't recognize any of those names except for Laura Bailey and Tara Strong.
Yeah, I know
two of them. Yeah, I know
four,
half.
you got half.
Yeah, it's not bad, I guess. I ain't half bad.
But it's still failing. You had to get at least 3 out of the 4.
Yeah. Harley's Lego incarnation has gone through more than one costume change, much like her normal character. The movie version looks to be a combination of her outfits from the DCAU, the DCEU, and the New 52. This is a nice touch as it pays homage to the character's outfits through the years. As always, Harley is forever loyal to her puddin', and as usual, Joker takes this blind devotion completely for granted. Unfortunately for her, the guy only has eyes for Batman, especially in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Batman-Joker relationship can never get more obvious than when Scott Snyder drew the heart.
Yeah.
Had
Right.
Greg Capullo draw that heart in the bottom. You're like, oh.
Can we get a one-off of them getting together?
That's a 90s sitcom. Batman and Joker
let's
as
put our
roomies.
differences aside.
And Guy Gardner's the neighbor.
He gets punched every episode.
Every episode. That would actually be a really good long running gag. Apparently,
No,
I
hold
can't
on.
talk
So
today
you
either.
could have Batman and Joker as the odd couple.
Right.
Guy Gardner's the neighbor. And then 2 women, Wonder Woman and Harley, are down the hall.
Oh,
and
my
then
gosh.
During season 2, we got a spin-off.
No, season 2, Lex Luthor buys the building.
I'm just kind of picturing Friends with like Batman,
That's
Joker.
all it is. Yeah.
But what you would need to do, though, is add like another level to it. Like, no one knows that Superman is Clark.
Okay.
So he has to be the lawyer, the reporter investigating the slumlord Lex Luthor. So they're always talking to him at the doors.
I think it should just be Justice League apartments, and it's all the Justice League, but none of them know that each other is the other.
No one knows these secret identities.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But they all meet up on the 5th floor. Batman built the watchtower
Sure, yeah,
in,
why
Right.
not?
in the
Yeah.
apartment
Yeah.
building, but no one puts it together.
Number 11, Elseworlds from
we make that
1998. No, we don't have nearly enough production.
We'll do it with Legos.
There we go. Dan does all the voices. Elseworlds is a DC imprint which publishes stories that are not canon. It was here that Harley Quinn made her comic debut. Oh, I did miss something in my research. Appearing in Thrill Killer 62. This version of the character went by Haley Fitzpatrick. Can you really count it then? While her look could have used some work, one aspect of the story that was interesting was her relationship with Joker. In this continuity, Joker was a woman named Bianca Steeplechase. Although Harley's bisexuality has since been explored further, the idea was introduced into comics in 1998.
I need to see the picture this week.
You know what? I'm gonna say your research wasn't that poor because that doesn't sound like Harley at all.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah, that's
Other
probably
than
why
she
I
wears
missed
the
it.
Harley
I don't
Quinn
generally
outfit.
go in for the alternate versions when I look up a character, so. That is not the only cool alternate version of Harley, though. In Elseworlds' 80-page giant rockumentary, told a story about a record producer named Lex Luthor. Although they appeared for but a single glorious panel, one of his acts was an alternative lifestyle folk duo who were quite obviously Harley and Ivy. Unfortunately, this comic was withdrawn and pulp after a mere 2,000 copies were distributed in the UK. That's
We need to
sad.
find that.
Yeah, we do.
That's
I could see
amazing.
that as their alternate reality version.
That's fantastic.
Number 10, Batman, the Telltale series, which I never actually played.
I got bored.
That's fair.
I always get bored of those.
So real quick on that, on the Telltale games, everyone's like, Benny, did you like it? When they pitched it as, we're going to do a Batman game, but it's about Bruce Wayne, you're going to see behind the scenes, I was like, sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool idea, yeah.
Then I played it, and
Yeah.
after 5 hours, I'm like, can I just be Batman?
Was this
God,
the
Bruce
VR
Wayne
one?
is boring.
Was this the VR
No,
one?
it's one of the. It's like their Walking Dead games.
Okay, because
The
I know
VR
there
one
was a
was cool.
VR one that,
Yeah,
like,
I've heard
at
of that
times I was like, why am I doing this? I'm in VR. I don't want to scan for a footprint. Just let me throw batarangs.
That was the best part about that VR game.
That's actually Bruce Wayne in real life. He's like, God, I'm so sick of detective work.
Actually, when
Just
he's
wanna punch someone in the face.
when he's Bruce Wayne and they're B rangs and he throws the letter B. He's got
The
different
second
pockets.
season of this episodic game began early in 2017, with its third installment out this month. I feel like this is an old list. Laura Post portrays this version of Harley as always. Harley, as always, she is a former psychiatrist from Arkham, but her backstory is quite different. It wasn't in falling in love with the Joker that turned her to a life of crime. This Harley makes decisions for her own reasons, not that they are necessarily good ones. Aside from the change to Harley's history, the dynamic between her and the man soon to become the Joker is completely reversed. She treats him like a stooge, talking down to him and basically treating him the way that he treats Harley in every other iteration of the relationship. She doesn't even take orders from Bane. That's out of nowhere. She doesn't even take orders from Bane. What she does do is take control of her own destiny in a way that Harley rarely has. Maybe that sentence made more sense if I had played the games. I don't know.
I got to the point where they were all talking at a cafe, and there was a man that was quite obviously going to become the Joker, but wasn't the Joker.
Oh yeah, you meet him in like the first 20 minutes, don't you?
Right. But like
Phoenix?
I got to the end of episode 1, where like Batman finally arrived at the end, and you had to like do detective work and stop the guy from jumping out the window.
Sure.
And then I was like, Natalie's like, are we gonna go back and play episode 2? I'm like, hell no, that was boring as hell. And I never went back to it.
That's fair.
Number 9, Batman the Arkham series. This series not only turned Harley Quinn into a more of a household name than ever before, but also changed her look forever. That's right, she's dressed as a naughty nurse.
I want to see it.
You've seen Naughty Nurse Harley.
I want to see it again. Okay.
It's like Harley, but if she only wore bustiers.
On top of her normal
On
costume.
top of her normal clothes, yes.
Oh yeah, she's wearing it on top of it.
Yeah.
It's a style.
And it's not even hidden in any way.
It's a style.
It's like if Superman wore like a bro tank all the time while still having the Superman costume underneath,
would
but
be
like
pretty-
he's got the giant
That
holes.
would be really funny. The only other outfit Harley has been sporting over the years was the red 90. From Mad Love. For better or worse, the Arkham games changed all of that, and DC has been consistently ramping up the character's sexuality ever since. Still, the game altered more than just her look, painting an even darker picture of both Harley and her relationship with Joker. First game took its cues from Batman the Animated Series, with Paul Dini as the story's architect and Arlene Sorkin returning to voice Harley, though she was placed by Tara Strong in subsequent games.
She's a good voice actor.
Yeah.
Tara Strong?
Let's give Dan a try at it.
Ooh.
Dan never gets to
Yeah,
read
you
this.
couldn't even say
damn.
that.
What?
You're like, let's give Dan a
Trust me, I'm going to fail at this too.
One failure goes back to Andy. This will be the new game we're playing.
All right, Harvey Quinn on... There you go. You're going to...
All
All right, so
Andy.
this is the Harley
that's
Quinn...
when they mix Harley and Harvey Dent. So she's Harley
I was thinking
Two-Face.
Harvey Bullock.
Oh, that would work too. I like that one.
It's Harvey in just the red and black.
Oh, that's awful.
The trench coat is red and black.
That's an awful mental image.
I love
It's
it.
the Harvey Bullock from the Gotham show too.
Yeah, where he's just he's like just a big old fat guy.
All right, Harley Quinn ongoing from 2000 to 2004. Not that ongoing then. Although this run was a mixed bag, it was Harley's first solo series, and it featured gorgeous art by Terry Dodson. Unfortunately, although it ran for 38 issues before its cancellation, the book was kind of a bomb. The issue was most likely a combination of things. First of all, a huge aspect of Harley's character was obviously her relationship with Joker. There is a world of difference between the comic Joker and his Batman the Animated Series counterpart. While they are both undeniably bad guys, comic book Joker is a far scarier, far darker, far more murderous animal. having him remain Harley's love interest while trying to keep the essence of her character intact wasn't easy. Unfortunately, he was also kind of a large part of Harley's identity, so doing away with him altogether was basically out of the question. Did I miss the part where they were trying to actually include that into why this was a version of Harley instead of just giving us an explanation of Joker?
That person's an idiot.
Oh, okay. So the next one is the Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker.
I like this one.
Where she's twins.
No.
Oh no, she's the old lady. Sorry,
Read it.
Okay.
You gotta read it.
It's the best one.
Most of the Harley Quinn that we see in this film is the classic Batman the Animated Series version of the character, and as such, wouldn't really warrant a separate entry on this list. However, that flashback sequence isn't the only appearance that she makes in the movie. Harley also has a cameo at the end. You probably wouldn't recognize the woman who bails Dee Dee out of jail had they not called her Nana Harley. The coolest thing about this brief glimpse into Harleen's future is that she finally left Joker behind. Sure, he had to die first, but still. Not only has Nana Harley long since moved on, but she also attempted to raise her granddaughters to learn from her mistakes. Unfortunately, the efforts seem to be in vain.
So, for those who don't know, including you,
Yes.
in the Batman Beyond universe, these two characters are in the Jokers, which is a gang that Batman fights against because they're taking up the name of the Joker. They were Dee Dee, and that was the characters. And in the movie Return of the Joker, we got a little bit more.
Hold on. As in D and D.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
D-E-E and then D-E-E. So it's D and
Okay.
D. And then what happened is in Return of the Jokers fought against the whole thing, and they were part of it. And at the ending, old lady Harley Quinn shows up and confirms that those two are her granddaughters. Something that hadn't been confirmed in the entire life of the series.
Right.
It was always just assumed.
And she's like yelling at them that they're stayed out late, dressing up like clowns and stuff like that, which was very funny.
I love it. Do you want me to keep going?
Oh, we'll rotate back to me. And then
Good, because I was struggling.
Me no read good.
Number 6, DC Rebirth New 52. I'm sorry. I got this. We're good. It's the New 52 Rebirth version. This version of Harley might be higher on the list if not for the fact that she was portrayed so differently from one book to another. I agree with that heavily. Probably because it was an intentional shift in direction after fans were less than receptive of her initial relaunch. The violent psychopath of Suicide Squad is difficult to reconcile with the lovable maniac in Harley Quinn, who joined a roller derby team and rescues stray animals.
It's true.
That's exact. New 52 has changed her origin, and in doing so took away a lot of the character's agency in her creation of her alter ego.
I think what they should do is, because eventually we may get the 3 Joker story. Screw that. We should have like the 6 Harley story.
6 Harleys.
Turns out there's like 6 different Harleys out there all doing different stuff.
Harley Quinn destroys the DC universe. Actually,
I
would read that.
remember when this started, the New 52 solo Harley book done by Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti. They went in a totally different direction.
Oh, yeah.
She wasn't evil. She didn't work against Batman. She was
basically like, you know what? I want to be not a good guy, but I don't want to be evil anymore. Yeah.
Well, they did an amazing job with it because they moved her to Coney Island.
Yep.
So she had nothing to do with Gotham or anything. So when you saw like Batman and stuff, it was like, oh, Batman's visiting.
Right.
But a lot of times he'd be like, you stay in Coney Island away from Joker? Okay, I'll talk to you later. He was... But it was weird because this ran at the exact same time that she was skimpily dressed in the Suicide Squad book with
killing
Deadshot.
people, hooking up with Deadshot.
Right. But then you go to her book and she's fighting zombies.
Yeah. And rescuing stray puppies.
Rescuing stray puppies. She's a landlord to a carny situation. What do you call carnies?
Carnies.
Okay, well, a whole bunch of carnies lived in an apartment building. She took over as landlord.
Okay.
And Red Tool.
I smell a snitcom.
That's literally how they did it.
Yeah.
And Red Tool was there, and the talking gopher thing.
Right.
Yep.
I think I remember the talking gopher.
Yep. And that book's still going. But the problem with it is whenever somebody took over writing
explain why I
after Amanda
remember.
Conner, they would change. Okay, well, Harley's was more serious. So then we'd have a few serious stories. Oh, no. Harley's a little over the top. She, at one point, and I kid you not, because I still read this book, at one point, and this is the one that stands out the most to me as being like, what happened? Went to Apocalypse, became one of the female Furies.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Teamed up with a character named Tiny Tina, who, of course, for jokes is huge, and brought her back to live in the apartment, and now they are like... It was,
I remember when she was a Fury. That was weird.
All of it was weird.
Weirder than when she was a cosmic angel.
That also. She's also broken the fourth wall with, I forget the character's name, maybe the chat can
Fourth
help me
wall.
out. No, she met
It's actually a dude
continuity.
named Fourth Wall, and she just beat the crap out
That
of
should be a gag. Is there's a character called Fourth Wall,
and they break
Well,
fourth
him
wall.
constantly.
I like it.
Constantly
In that
breaking
book-
the fourth wall.
Sorry.
In that book, they brought back her mother and her family.
Yes, that's when she
Okay.
became a cosmic angel.
Yeah, who she became a
Yeah,
cosmic
yeah.
being, and then that was discovered that she had actually broken through the true fourth wall and
Right.
discovered she was a comic Deadpool style. But unlike Deadpool, she
That
was actually
sounds-
talking to continuity, which was a person.
That sounds more
Totally.
in the.
Continuity cop, that was the person.
See, it sounds more like Gwenpool than Deadpool with the
It was-
extent of this breaking.
I think they've ended the fourth wall thing, but like, no, because it happened to You're the Villain.
yeah.
Because she was reading her own comic to see what was going
That's
on.
right.
And now she's running around with Poison Ivy. So.
Right. They seem to have cleaned up all the.
Yeah,
She's not Deadpool, guys. Maybe we shouldn't have her.
Right.
Or is she?
I mean, they wear the same colors.
Our chat is right. That was probably one of my other favorite stories. She became a red and black lantern.
Sure.
She got both the rings.
Right.
She was fighting against Hal Jordan.
She was angry death.
It's like, what if we had Deadpool, but with boobs?
It's kind of where they're going with it. I don't think they know what they want to do. All right, number 5 is The Suicide
much.
Squad, a movie.
With Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie
Margot
kept
Robbie.
Harley's essence intact, imbuing her with all the sexuality, mania, and even pathos that we've come to expect from the character. I will say, I don't think we need to explain much of this version of the character because I think most people who are going to find this podcast, this episode, are aware of that version as Birds of Prey is now coming out.
Right.
I will, other than the other glaring issues with Suicide Squad, such as,
Bless
you
you.
know,
Thank you.
the entire cast, Joker, the plot, the visual
Okay,
effects.
Will Smith's
the
Deadshot was pretty
trailer.
solid.
Yeah. I will give him.
I was
will
gonna
give him
say
that.
Deadshot, and then immediately it was like, no, actually, I
Oddly
liked
enough,
That was the
John
good part.
Courtney as Captain Boomerang was actually pretty good.
him. Yeah, that was too.
And when John Courtney isn't the crappiest thing in your movie, you got a pretty crappy movie.
Overall, other than I'd say the only thing that they did well with the Suicide Squad, like if you had to pick one major thing, was the casting of the core 3 people in the Suicide Squad.
Right.
Which, for the record, the core 3 people of the Suicide Squad is just like Guardians of the Galaxy, where there was no core until there was a movie. And
That's
then-
true, yes,
And
yeah.
suddenly, well, actually,
And
I
now
would
it's
say New
always
52.
Boomerang. It's always
Yeah.
Deadshot.
This one
it's
was
always
before
Harley.
the movie, though. That like
New
Deadshot,
52 did that.
Boomerang.
Yeah. It was the New 52 that solidified that the 3 of them were them, and that made
Well,
the book sell.
Deadshot has been on the Suicide Squad since like the 70s. He was always, if you
But he
look
was the
back on
only
the
mainstay.
history of the Suicide
Right.
Squad, it usually has to do with Deadshot.
And it was always him and Rick Flag.
Yes.
It was normally,
Who-
they were the 2 mainstays.
Was Joel Kinnaman, that guy, who, as we were discussing earlier, I actually like him, but he gets stuck in a lot of crappy roles.
Oh
Yeah.
That was one of them.
But I will say the casting they had on the, Captain Boomerang, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and
Yeah.
Will Smith's Deadshot. That was really good. I liked their roles. But yeah, this is Margot Robbie's version is number 5 on our list here, moving us down to Injustice version of Harley, which is another of my personal favorites.
Yeah, I actually really liked that interpretation of the character.
So basically, the way this one worked was, I'll explain this one a little bit better because we've done a ton of Injustice stuff. Up until the death, the Joker dies in this universe.
Oh, sorry.
Joker dies in this universe, and when that happens, Harley goes through an entire self-discovery journey. What is Harley Quinn? Is she a hero? Is she an enemy? What is the deal? All of this stuff.
And fights Lobo.
And fights
Yes.
Lobo.
Blows his head up.
Yep. She ends up teaming up with Green Arrow and Black Canary, becoming besties with them all.
Yep, comes up with the best name for the Arrow Cave.
Yep.
Yep.
The quiver.
Tries to teach, gets a muzzle for Black Canary's kid that's going to be born. And she's like, why would I put a muzzle on my kid? I don't know, because it's the daughter of a woman who can yell and tear down walls, but
Don't want it crying.
That's fair. That's fair.
the version of her was good. And I think it all came together when she was teaming up with Batman in Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with her own Robin name.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a good one. I liked that one a lot.
That was a good one.
Number 3 is the DC Bombshells version. Now, for those guys who don't know what the DC Bombshells thing is, World War II. Imagine all your favorite female superheroes are basically pinup girls.
Yeah.
But they're heroes and they do their own thing.
I like her
Started
look in
off
this one.
as statue line and then
Yep.
turned into a comic book.
Yep.
Yeah, I had the statue line because they were
Yeah.
pretty awesome. Natalie was a huge fan of them. Before we started getting all the crazy sideshow stuff, we used to get those all the time. But yeah, it's an interesting one. You can find Bombshells Harley everywhere. It's probably the most recognizable version of her outside of Harley.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because she just popped up in so many locations. Number 2 was the Gotham City Sirens version. So in the 2009 era, all the way up to the New 52, there was a book that featured Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman. I'm actually shocked that book has not come back in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it didn't do that poorly. I mean, you had 3 huge female evil villains running a book. Why would that?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I guess they wanted to, do the Suicide Squad version of her. The premise is this: Catwoman nearly dies at the hands of the villainous Hush, and after Zatanna heals her, she steals her money and redistributes it amongst Gotham's female criminals. The team up of Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy is different than Harley comics that preceded it. Harley isn't a hero, but she isn't Joker's punching bag either. The entire series is excellent right up until its cancellation to make way for the new 52.
That's why I got canceled.
Well, yeah, no. As soon as I saw 2011, I'm like, that was why it was
it happened.
Right.
I don't know why it didn't come back though.
Yeah.
Because she was
At
on
the-
the Suicide Squad.
I'm surprised they don't even do, because at the very least they could do like a 6-issue miniseries.
Yeah, something.
and I would read that.
yeah.
All right, I'll let Andy read number 1.
Yeah.
What do you think it is before you scroll down? Or did you already see it when I was scrolling
I
down?
already saw when he scrolled. If you don't put the original version of the character as the number 1 version of the character, I don't know if who made this list, but they're stupid. So number 1, Batman the Animated Series, 1992 to 1995. Of course, no iteration of Harley Quinn is ever going to top the original. See? All right, here we go. Let's just move on. Anyway.
I mean, that's it. That's it.
Aside from the Elseworlds, all of her early comic adventures were basically a continuation of Paul Dini and Bruce Timm's original concept for the character. She may have come a long way over the years, but for pretty much all Harley fans, Batman the Animated Series is the definitive version. It also yielded one of the best comic stories to ever feature her, which was Mad Love.
Yep.
Which is her origin story. Which started out as a comic book, then they turned it into an episode.
Yep.
Not the other way around. Despite her many costume changes, Tim's original gesture design remains the most iconic. Her dialogue never sounds contrived when Dini is behind it. Harley's creators best understand her. They built her in their favorite among Batman's entire cast of characters, which is saying something, considering she was such a late addition to the party. Her popularity was also in no small part due to Arlene Sorkin's voice acting.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, we're not even going to argue about that.
You know this one's an
Dude,
old list,
I-
though, because they didn't add Old Lady Harley,
Oh, yeah.
where she's Mad Max,
Yeah,
essentially.
where's Mad Max or our Old Man Logan.
That was an
the
interesting version. I couldn't get behind it. I really wasn't
No,
a fan
I
of
could
it.
not.
So
This list almost looks exactly the same.
it does.
it
So we're going to
is-
go through it quickly, just, fill time on a podcast. There's another list we pulled up, made on the Amino Apps page, who we've worked with before, and I still stand by. I think it's a great community website. But this was a little more up to date on the alternate versions. I don't think they're listed
Hold
though.
on, I don't think it is. I think that said 2017.
No, that's Batman Damned. It just took forever to finish.
That's not Batman, damn.
Oh no,
that's
that's
Joker.
the Joker. Yeah.
Where she doesn't have any dialogue and she's just a stripper.
Yes, I remember that.
She's
Joker
in it.
was a great
She's
book,
like
though.
2 pages, and that's one of them.
I like it.
So this guy's got number 1. Who did this one? I don't even see a name. I don't know how to read the name of these ones. But anyway, number 1 is the Joker version, where she's a stripper with no lines. That was bothering you.
Yeah, it really was.
Number 2 is the Batman Adventures comics, which continues her storyline.
Yep.
Number 3 is hiding under Batman Arkham comics that follows her storyline from the Arkham City. Number 4 was that Elseworlds 80-page giant where she's a beetle, basically.
She's in a folk band with her partner.
Batman Spirit comic. Harley's a flight attendant playing the part as the Joker flies the plane.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, that's just hardly.
What? I don't even know what that is.
That's when he teamed up with the Spirit.
Oh, that makes sense. That's recent, isn't it?
Recent-ish.
Like 3 or 4 years ago.
No, I think
Number
it's
5,
older.
6 of them
quite recent.
is Harley Quinn and the Bombshells. Number 7 is Batman 66 universe version, which was a recent invention.
They did,
Right.
yeah, they did add her into that universe.
Injustice, Harley Quinn. Number 9 is Batman Strikes. The comic follows the Batman cartoon series. In this universe, Harley was the host of a psychology show. Yep. Number 10 is... What is that? I don't like the way this is organized. Oh, the Amy Kami version. They made the whole universe of anime versions of all the characters.
Yeah.
And instead of anybody being a guy, they were all big, busty women. Because it was
what's
anime.
this called? No.
The best universe. You heard of the darkest timeline? This is the best timeline.
Earth 3 Harley Quinn is Jokesters. I did say it right the first time. The manager threw me off.
He's a famous comedian in Gotham City.
Number 12 is Thrill Killer Harley Quinn.
That's where Joker's a female, and it was the first time they were.
That's the female Joker.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Number 13 is the New 52 version, where she pretty much discovered that she doesn't want to wear clothing anymore.
Clothing is so restrictive when you're fighting crime, or doing crime, I should say.
Fighting crime
I would
fighters.
understand your argument if she wasn't wearing a bustier
Yeah.
corset kind of thing.
Well, you don't want them all over the place. Was this too much? Was that the part? Well, what are you going to do?
Number 14 was DC Rebirth book line, and that's all they had on this one. So yeah, a lot of repeats. There was a couple new ones in there, 66. And
one of my favorite newer ones, the new animated series Harley. I'm actually a big fan of.
The
yeah,
new animated series.
the
The
new
one on
show,
DC Universe.
Harley Quinn.
Oh, yes, yeah,
By
yeah,
Kaylee, I don't know her name.
Kuko.
Kuko. She's from
Big Bang
Theory.
Theory. Penny.
She's
played by
also from
Penny.
the Expedia travel commercials.
That's true.
Yeah. With
She
William
took up
Shatner.
Yeah, she took up after Shatner.
So there you go. Alternate versions of Harley. What is your personal favorite, Andy? Since he already picked that.
Curse of the White Knight.
Curse of the.
I like that one. Or White Knight and then Curse of the White
Yeah.
Knight.
Okay, actually,
Yeah. I
that
think
would
it's a
be
very
my
good
number.
No,
version.
you can't. You already took yours.
No, I said the other one should have been on the list. That one was actually a
No,
very, very good one.
no,
Fine.
he did
Number
it.
2.
Number dose.
Problem is, now you guys have added them in there. I don't think there's any Harleys left for me to pick.
No.
All right, come on, pick one. Pick one, you big loser.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Old Lady Harley. Even though I just said I didn't like it.
Yeah. He got the short straw.
Yeah, you did.
Do you hate it when your friends pick all the best versions in your list of deciding who's the best version of Harley
Yeah,
Quinn?
in your opinion-based comment that you're not allowed to say.
What a bunch of assholes.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's list discussion right here at the Comics Experiment. Next week, we got to find something new to do because we did 2 lists this month, and it's time for us to move on.
Cage
Yeah.
deathmatch.
But Dan, who are our sponsors?
Our sponsors are Hims. If you go to 4hims.com/comics, you can get your first month for free. And G Fuel. G Fuel, G Fuel, G Fuel.
And
Patreon.com/Comicstorian because our Patreons are awesome people.
And
I don't know.
Twitch
who
subs.
Twitch subs.
Jesus.
Because we do,
man.
I mean, to be fair, this is true because we do stream it live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Comicstorian, where for your Twitch Prime sub or for $5, you can support us there as well.
In my mind, when he said it, I was like, Twitch? Because I didn't know. It's a good thing he didn't actually look over
And
at me.
Andy, when can they find our live stream D&D game?
Never.
Oh, we should do one in like a superhero world. That'd be fun.
It means I got to come up with a superhero world.
Yeah. Just find a normal one and just change the names.
Yeah.
No,
This is
we'll do that planet in Darkwing
Flying
Duck.
Rodent Man.
We'll do the Darkwing Duck planet where they're all superheroes, and we're the normies.
That actually would be really funny. It's just like the most mundane thing ever.
And you look over your head, there's 3 people flying, and you're getting groceries.
What's today's quest? Getting to work without getting hit by a train.
It's just pretty hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for your support. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you next week right here at the Comics Experiment. Legitimately say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye. Legitimately.